12 years ago, I sat in a pediatric intensive care unit with my 3-year-old daughter, Kennedy, while my 6-year-old son was at home missing his mommy, and my husband was juggling his job, caregiving our son, and supporting me and Kennedy in the hospital. And this scenario was playing out again and again throughout the year for weeks at a time, and I saw no end in sight. At 9 months old, Kennedy was diagnosed with a progressive terminal neuromuscular condition called Spinal Muscular Atrophy, or SMA. It's considered to be the childhood version of ALS. We were told that she would lose the ability to cough, swallow, breathe, and move. She would require multiple respiratory treatments a day and 24-hour care. But her mind would stay intact. We didn't know if she would see her second birthday. Within 2 months of her diagnosis, she needed a feeding tube. 1 month later, breathing support, and 1 month after that, she had her first hospitalization with pneumonia. Everything felt scary. A common cold could kill her. So to keep Kennedy safe, I put my family into a bubble. We lived in a sort of perpetual lockdown. We didn't leave the house a lot unless it was outdoors in well-ventilated areas, and we were super careful about who we let into our home. We missed a lot of family gatherings. We wanted our son to have as normal a life as possible, but the colds he brought home from school sent me into a panic. So many decisions felt like life or death. And it didn't seem to matter what I did in the bubble. I couldn't keep Kennedy safe. And truth be told, I think we were all suffocating. But as I sat in that pediatric intensive care unit, the weight of hopelessness cracked me open. And I thought, this can't be all there is. And then I got an idea. What would it be like for my family to go on a Disney cruise? Now, to some of you, being surrounded by 1,500 screaming children might sound like a total nightmare. But my family loved Disney, and we really needed a vacation. Every doctor said no. It was a crazy idea. To take a child who didn't have a stable airway and who got pneumonia at the drop of a hat onto a cruise ship? I understood the risk. And yet somehow, doing what we had been doing felt more dangerous. So we went. And something magical happened. We were 1 day into the cruise, and my daughter met the princesses. And I met a version of my daughter I had never known before. She was sparkling with life and wide-eyed with wonder and loving every minute of it. And this is the version of Kennedy who showed up the entire cruise. And suddenly, every decision I had ever made to contain her life, even in the name of safety, felt completely backwards. And I asked myself, why am I working this hard to keep her alive if I'm not going to let her actually live? That awareness shifted everything. And like John Candy and Steve Martin, we started traveling by planes, trains, and automobiles, and cruise ships and RVs. That girl wanted everything life had to offer: school in person, playdates and sleepovers, Disneyland passes, meet and greets with celebrities. And then she wanted to do musical theater, show choir, and color guard. And little by little, this life that we'd been afraid to risk became a life we were proud to let her live. I'm going to let Kennedy tell you about it.
Hello. My name is Kennedy. I am 15 years old. I am a singer, a dancer, an actress, and a social butterfly. In case you haven't noticed, I look a little different than you. I have SMA, which makes my muscles weak. But that doesn't really matter to me because I still do what I love. I love to travel. I have kissed a dolphin in the Bahamas, had my hair braided in Jamaica, seen a volcano erupt in Hawaii. I've been camping and floated down a lazy river. Going to Disneyland is one of my favorite things to do. In fact, I really want my mom, I call her Cha-Cha, to take me on a roller coaster. So far she has said no. Whatever, Cha-Cha. Anyway, I love meeting new people my age and I make friends everywhere I go. I once made a friend in the restroom at Disneyland. I love hanging out with friends and going to the mall, and I have a calendar of FaceTimes scheduled every month with people I know all over the country. I also love cute boys and beautiful celebrities. By the way, if any of you know Olivia Rodrigo, I'd love to FaceTime her. Wink, wink. Whatever's going on in your life, don't let it stop you from doing what you love. You are supposed to love your life. Back to you, Cha-Cha.
Kennedy was doing a lot of living, but I wasn't. Even with some nursing help, I was completely exhausted by the direct caregiving I was doing and the mental load of managing it all. And I just resigned myself to the idea that my dreams and aspirations had to be on hold while I was a primary caregiver. Or more to the point, I stopped dreaming altogether. But I was at peace with this because I thought it would be a short season of my life. But then we were gifted the miracle of time. 5 years. 10 years, 15 years. And I started to feel confined and defined by my caregiving role. And then I would feel guilty because I knew how many mothers had lost their child to this disease and would give anything to be in exactly the position I was in. On a day I was feeling particularly sorry for myself, I overheard Kennedy ask her nurse something she asked her every single day.
Did you laugh today?
It struck me to the core. Here I was, the wing woman to a child who had figured out how to be happy and live fully despite impossible circumstances, and yet I couldn't live beyond my caregiving role. If a child who can't move can build a life of her dreams, one of love, joy, fun, connection, adventure, what's my excuse? So little by little, I started living more life too. I went back to a job I loved as a constitutional lawyer, working part-time. I earned my black belt in karate at 46 years old. I started traveling without my children. I launched a coaching business. And I started having play dates with my friends. Most of us don't face a circumstance like Kennedy's. But how many of us are letting the circumstance we do face confine us or define us? And how many of us are telling ourselves, I'll do what I want to do later, when the circumstance isn't in the way? But what if there is no later? I know of 3 children diagnosed with SMA who, as toddlers, outlived a parent. There is no time to waste because there are no guarantees for any of us. And what if rising above your circumstance is as simple as Kennedy has made it? I think her playbook boils down to 3 steps. Add to your life. ADD. Allow, decide, dare. Step 1, allow. Allow the circumstance that you can't control to be exactly what it is. Don't resist it. Don't resent it. And don't romanticize what you think should have been. I'll give you an example of this. So many times throughout the years, I've asked Kennedy, if you had a magic wand, what would you do with it? Not once has she said to me, I'd get rid of my SMA. Her answer is always about connecting to another human being. This level of allowing creates a space for the circumstance to just exist without even being relevant to the question of whether you can build a life you love around it. Step 2, decide. You decide the meaning of the circumstance. I've come to believe that the meaning in any circumstance isn't built in. The meaning is what you decide it is. And there are so many ways to experience any circumstance. You get to choose. I'll let Kennedy explain.
I know I have a disability. I can't cough by myself. I need a ventilator to breathe. I need someone to turn me when I am uncomfortable. I even need help scratching an itch. The only thing I can do by myself is use this device. Oh, funny story. When I was in preschool, I used to use my device to make burping and farting noises during class. It was hilarious. Anyway, I don't let SMA tell me what I can do. I just don't pay attention to it. For example, I love being on stage. I feel alive. I love the costumes and the makeup. I love the singing and the dancing. I don't look like everyone else up there, and that is okay. It's okay to be you. It's okay to show up exactly as you are. You are perfect. Just like me.
Okay. Step 3, dare. Dare to live a life you love. Life is full of risk. Take the risk that is aligned with an expansive life, not the risk of doing nothing. Crazy fact. Kennedy hasn't been hospitalized with illness in almost 12 years. And I think there's a universal truth revealed in this. When you focus on the hardship and the struggle, and that's what you come to expect, that's what you get. But when you take the step that is aligned with what brings you to life, even though there's risk, life actually gets easier and more fun. And everything that's not a match for that starts to fade away. I'll let Kennedy give you an example.
When I was in junior high, there was a big outbreak of a bad respiratory virus. I went to see my doctor for an appointment, and he said I needed to do school at home for a few weeks. He said it was too risky for me to go to school in person. I told him no. I said there was a cute boy in my 6th period art class, and I needed to see him every day. The doctor thought I was joking. I was not joking. So we came to an agreement he could live with, and I stayed in school. And I did not get sick. So the lesson is this. The key to staying healthy is being around cute boys. I'm just kidding. Sometimes you have to take a risk for what you want. But if you can allow, Decide. Dare. Your life can be amazing. You got this.
We will leave you with this. Every day, my daughter reminds me that life is meant to be lived, that courage is contagious, and that love is more powerful than any circumstance. I hope she has reminded you of this now too. So go live. Live boldly. Live beautifully. Live the life that is waiting for you to claim it. Thank you.